afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. My apologies. We were off campus, as we used to say in Sacramento. My apologies. Happy New Year. Looking forward to working with all of you. I'll say Happy New Year to the staff, obviously to my colleagues. We have some incredible challenges in front of us, but I think with the abundance of talent that exists in the city, in this region, that we can overcome them. I'll just share with you, just because I'm just thinking randomly, but think of today's weather and the abilities that we would have today. Let's say we're involved in construction and housing and building and all this stuff, and think of what's going on back east. And pipes are frozen, energy doesn't exist, people are locked into their homes. There's all these challenges that people have that we don't have simply because we have a location. And it's something that we should just think about, take advantage of, something that I'd love to hear our chamber trumpet to business. Think of the productivity or lack of productivity that exists on the East Coast today and throughout those parts of the country. So anyway, just some thoughts, random thoughts. Look forward to everybody. My colleagues?
Mr. Chairman, I share your comments. I just came back from the East Coast myself. I'm still thawing out after all these days. So glad to be home.
Okay. So we have two groups. I want to bring up 1 and 2 together, if we may. Mr. Dallas?
Mr. Chair, items 1 and 2 are appointments of Ms. Dallas Fowler and Ms. Nikki Mark to the Commission on the Status of Women.
Great. The mayor's done a great job, particularly on the question of gender appointments, and I'm happy to see both of you. Obviously, share with us your personal experiences and background and tell us why you're excited to serve the city and what are the challenges that confront particularly women in the city.
Well, I'm Nikki Mark. I'm an LA native, born and raised in Encino, and now live on the west side. For the past almost 20 years, I've worked only for entrepreneurial companies, 2 companies, both for about 8 to 10 years each. Most recently in hospitality, I've helped entrepreneurs build their visions. I've managed all kinds of people. I've been, for the past 10 years, helping SBE grow from a 1-venue nightclub to a 40-venue multinational company, and more recently scaled back to help run its foundation and nonprofit work and develop the SBE Foundation, trying to figure out how we utilize our money to do good things for the communities that we're in. I've been blessed. I've had 2 children during my time at SBE, and what I noticed the most is the need for working women to stay working and to have the ability to do so. And I've served as a mentor to a lot of women merely by the fact that I continued working and have been able to help a lot of women with that challenge. And so one of the things I really see in Los Angeles is, and really probably in many cities across the nation, is the need to help women find their voice and continue to push ahead and be able to be at that table. I've served at many levels of the organization and reached the top, and it's a nice place to be, and it just like any company needs a lot of diversity. And I think that that's a really important initiative for the city. It helps with job creation. It helps, I think, with better decision making. So that's something I would like to really help support. And my experience is really just helping to get things done. I help companies grow. I help people achieve, and that's what I enjoy.
Awesome. Senator?
No, I'm just impressed with your with your commitment, and I like that tagline of just getting the job done. That's exactly what we need. Certainly, it's important to have gender diversity, and but we want good, qualified folks at every level doing everything. And so I think you certainly fill that bill, and look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Greetings, council members. I'm Dallas Fowler.
For a second, we have President of the Council has just entered, so I want to...
My council member.
There you go.
Hi.
Afternoon.
Okay, can I go now?
Yes.
Okay. Greetings, council members. I'm Dallas Fowler. I'm the principal of Deltek Global Solutions. It's, our 7-year anniversary will be in September of this year. We provide digital and print media communications for a variety of industries, from entertainment to sometimes political, as well as nonprofit services. And I also work with a number of not small to mid-sized firms in terms of business development consulting. My formal background was in construction. I started out doing labor compliance. Oh, let me back up. Los Angeles native, born and raised here, graduate of Westchester High School. My formal background started in labor compliance and community relations for Turner Construction Company for the Southwest region of the United States. And it was there that I learned that some of the inequalities in contracting for women and minorities. And so I have championed for that, for them to have contracts and opportunities to bid on projects. And that has been a long time passion of mine. I moved from there to go to U.S. Bank, where I helped to implement their supplier diversity program nationally. And there I got the opportunity to meet a host of women doing wonderful things in business across the nation, working with the Women's Business Enterprise National Council, as well as local councils for the Minority Business Development Council, National Minority Business Supplier Development Council. And here specifically in LA, working with women at the Los Angeles African American Women's Public Policy Institute, where I am a graduate of their 10-week program housed at USC. Excuse me, I don't know why I'm a little nervous. Housed at USC.
Take a deep breath.
And because there's so much that I'm trying to get on the area of women. And very proud past alumni president, working with those women there and focusing on policies at the state and local level that impact women. And as far as the political activities, I have chaired a couple of political action committees, one for New Frontier Democratic Club. I interviewed a couple of you for your new seats here.
No wonder you're nervous.
I know. So very excited to be on this commission, because women's issues and the issues of young girls are very important issues that are near and dear to my heart. I worked a long time ago with the MOST Association, which is mentoring our students through experience, and helped put in a mentor program at Samuel Gompers Middle School for 7th and 8th grade girls. So I do have a track record of working with women and women's issues, and then on a variety of policy issues. Thank you.
So my question is, there's two questions. How do I access your incredible talent and resources and skills for my first district? I want to be very provincial about this. And second, both of you are very impressive and successful. How does the city capture your talent and integrate it, besides the commission, into, for example, the city council? Is the council too scary a beast that we couldn't get one of you to run for office? How do we make that? And I know it's not profitable, but how do we make that happen?
Well, I mean, mentioning that specifically, clearly we have a lack of women leadership on the council at this time. We have one, and I think that's good, but we've had 2 or 3 in the past, and so that is something that I would like to see. And I have a track record also of helping women run for office, and men, because sometimes you just have to really go with the qualified candidate, or the candidate that...
Candidates can be men also, right?
And candidates can be men, and men have often championed for our issues as well. But back to your original question, in terms of exacting my talents in your district, I mean, that's a simple phone call, email, Dallas, what can we do in this area? And something I would like to see done at the council level, even if we grouped a couple of different council districts, 2 to 3 at a time, where we had actual meetings and invited all of the women out from that district to talk about issues that are impacting them at the state and local level, and getting feedback from them and telling us about what issues are impacting them. I think constant communication with the community and getting their input brings them more to the table. Gets more community buy-in for you as a council member, but for us as the city of Los Angeles, letting people know that we know you're there, we know you have issues, and we want to hear from you. So that would be some of my suggestions.
Thank you. We have, in my district, some nonprofits that we work with. Every Woman Counts, a few others that are very important to us that we'd like to find ways to connect and have you guys intersect with them, because you guys are very important.
As it stands currently on the Commission of the Status of Women's website, there is a directory there that I do see us potentially updating some of the information there in terms of resources for women, as well as utilizing your council offices to push that information and let women know that that information is there. Sometimes you have to do a little mini marketing campaign for some of the smaller things that we think that, everyone should know. And sometimes we have so much access to resources that we assume that people have the same knowledge that they don't. And I think it's just creating avenues for them to have access. Yes, it's there online, but sometimes you have to put it a little closer to them so that they know what resources are available to them.
I'm an entrepreneur, so for me, if something needs to get done, I find a way. I find the people, I connect, I respectfully do my best to make it happen. So whatever the needs are, I think they just get discussed and considered and acted upon. I don't know how politics work. I don't know how districts work. I just switch industries and switch modes and try my best to make it happen. And that's what I can do.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. President.
Dallas,
Yes, sir.
what was the outcome of your interview of Mr. Price?
I am. Please, I was just.
Refresh our memory.
Don't answer.
Well, I will say this. Eventually, we endorse Mr. Price,
Right.
and we're happy to see him here.
Mr. Fuentes.
I'm afraid of these two.
Well said.
I can say this to you, Mr. Fuentes. I enjoy your Instagram because I do social media consulting, and thank you for the grocery bags that you have been sending out to folks. Very cool.
Good. We got grocery bags.
I got grocery bags.
Councilman, get some grocery bags. Send them out to your women. Send them out to the moms.
I just got some. I have them in my car. Some of them so that I can shop.
Okay.
The grocery store.
right.
I followed Mr. Fuentes' lead.
Awesome.
Okay, Mr. President, if we're okay,
I support this.
we get a motion from the President.
Second.
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 Is that the order?
So be it, yes, sir.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
By the way, both of these appointments will be in council on Wednesday, January 15th.
Okay, next.
Mr. Chair, items 3 through 6 are appointments to the Board of Commissioners for the Housing Authority. Would you like to hear these items together?
Yes, we would.
Items 3 through 6. Items 3, reappointment of Ms. Kimberly Freeman, an appointment of Ms. Daria Nunez, appointment of Ms. Maria Lou Kalanch, and appointment of Ms. Shane Goldsmith.
So from introductions from left to right,
Okay.
from your right to left. All right.
I'm Kimberly Freeman, and I'm a lifelong resident of Los Angeles as well. I grew up in Mid-City, was educated in LA public schools, and attended UC Berkeley undergrad, and UCLA and USC for graduate school in public policy and business administration. I have worked previously for Southern California Gas Company for 24 years and recently resigned to take a position at UCLA in the business school as Assistant Dean for Diversity Initiatives and Community Relations. So my passion is education and making sure that we build a strong pipeline of leaders here in Southern California, and I'll be doing that on behalf of the Anderson School starting Monday. In terms of my community involvement, in my previous role as Director of Community Relations, I had the best job in the gas company. I was able to interact with hundreds of nonprofit organizations and serve on many boards and commissions, including serving on the Quality and Productivity Commission back in 2005, which complemented my undergraduate degree, which is in industrial engineering and operations research. So I guess you could call me an efficiency expert. I don't know that that is an accurate title sometimes if you look at my messy desk at work, but I strive to be efficient and effective. And I also currently serve as vice chair of the California African American Museum. So I was appointed twice by Governor Schwarzenegger to that commission. I've been serving on the Housing Authority for the last 2.5 years. I was appointed in June of 2011 by Mayor Villaraigosa, and it was a little scary. And I have to say, because housing was not an area that I fully understood, particularly affordable housing and working with some of the most vulnerable members of our community in terms of their most basic need. But in the 2.5 years that I've been on the commission, I feel that I've gained a lot of knowledge about what is important to offer in terms of human capital services, as well as looking at the infrastructure issues as it relates to the developments across the city, and putting in enough units to hopefully impact this crisis in housing in LA City in a real meaningful way. And I just love serving on this commission because I think it's where head and heart connect, where you have an opportunity to really be a thinker, which is, again, a nod to my engineering background, and some of the technical stuff that comes up on the agendas is stuff that I really relish, especially the environmental stuff. But I also enjoy the human capital services part. I've been really impressed with all the work that's being done at Jordan Downs, and so I look forward to continuing to serve in this capacity and hopefully leave a lasting impression on not just the Housing Authority, but the City of Los Angeles as a leader in this area.
So did you move? Were you in CD8 and then you moved to CD11?
Well, I think my line moved. I got redistricted into 11. So,
I understand that.
yeah.
Okay. Before we do questions, let's continue with the introductions.
Oh, sure. Good afternoon. My name is Lou Calanche. I'm just getting over a cold, so sorry about my congested voice. I'm very happy to be here. I grew up in the Ramona Gardens community, and Mr. Wesson, the Ramona Gardens ladies, love you.
Yes.
They always talk about you.
Hallelujah.
So they send their regards.
Did you hear that, Mr. Cedillo?
President, sir.
Yeah, they talk about you going and having tacos in Ramona Gardens.
I
So
went there and took one of them
shopping, yeah,
at Ralph's, and we tried to bust the bank. But,
yeah. So they always talk about you. So, well, I'm really happy to be here. I grew up in the Ramona Gardens community. Public housing is extremely important to me, and the residents of public housing, especially youth. Not only are public housing residents extremely poor, but they're also resource poor. Most of the public housing developments don't have a lot of resources around them. If you think about Ramona Gardens or William Mead, they're surrounded by industry, by factories, versus shopping, versus lack of markets.
There's no supermarket.
There are none. So where do William Mead residents shop? Where do Ramona Gardens residents shop? In liquor stores, right? Thus the Strata Courts. So thus the food deserts. So public housing residents do need a lot of resources, and I think what I bring to the table is experience in bringing resources to communities and wanting to figure out how to involve residents directly in changing their community, because that's the only way that we can sustain change is if residents are directly involved and their leadership potential is developed, so that they have the capacity to continue to work on change and to sustain it. And the bulk of my work in Boyle Heights has been around leadership development. Currently, I am the executive director of a nonprofit called Legacy LA, which I started, that is focused in the Ramona Gardens community, but also part of the work is to renovate an old National Guard armory that is now owned by the City of Los Angeles under Recreation and Parks. We want to create a center that really is a hub for resources and also that focuses on building skills, workforce skills, leadership skills in youth and young adults. So I'm really happy to be here and to serve on the Housing Authority. I hope to bring my experience in bringing resources to the table or finding alternatives that can create opportunities for especially youth living in these communities. And I'm also a big advocate of public housing. If we don't have public housing, a lot of these residents could not today live in the city of LA. They would be moving to Fontana or something, somewhere else. So it's really important that we maintain public housing and that we also create opportunities for families living in public housing. Thank you.
I'm sorry, my English is no good, but I try my best.
Si gusta hablar en español,
ok.
será fácil para mí para traducir.
Ok, está bien. Entonces,
Más dame una chancita cuando estamos
sí,
hablando.
ok. Mi nombre es Daria Núñez y yo tengo 26 años viviendo en la comunidad de Pico Gardens.
My name is Daria Nunez, and I have 26 years living in the community of Pico Gardens.
Yo he trabajado por mi comunidad porque siempre he estado envuelta en organizaciones para trabajar por una comunidad mejor.
I've always worked in the community because it's my desire to work for organizations in the community that make the community better.
Al igual que he oído comentar a mis compañeras, yo también quiero un mejor futuro para los niños, para los jóvenes.
I've often heard from my colleagues and partners in the community that we all want a better, brighter future for our children.
Mi sueño es que todos los jóvenes que viven en la comunidad pública, que vayan a la universidad, que vayan al colegio, que salgan de ese círculo que hemos vivido.
Our dream is that our youth who live in these public housing developments have a bright future and are eligible to get to college and have the opportunities that they deserve.
Y pues yo les agradezco que me hayan dado la oportunidad para estar aquí en esta mesa que es un reto para mí porque mi idioma es el español.
This is a tremendous opportunity, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve on this commission because.
Pero yo tengo el corazón y la pasión para servir a mi comunidad.
But I've got the heart and the passion to serve my community.
Y mi sueño es no solo cambiar a Boyle Heights, sino cambiar a Los Ángeles.
My dream is not to just transform Boyle Heights, but to change Los Angeles.
Con lo que yo pueda como siempre he dicho, ¿verdad? Trabajando juntos, poniendo cada quien sus talentos, podemos hacer cosas grandes.
And like I've always said, working together, we can do great things.
Okay, es todo.
That's it.
Hi, I'm Shane Goldsmith, also born and raised in Los Angeles. Raised poor, no health care. Parents died because they didn't have it. So my brother has been homeless most of his life, so devoted my life to fighting poverty. And in my professional career has been mostly focused on poverty issues and housing in particular. So I've, had the opportunity to provide services to homeless folks, to build housing for low-income and homeless people, to work on policy around affordable housing development, and I'm honored to have this opportunity to serve on the HACLA board. And I think my interest, like others, is to make sure that the people like my dad and my brother who are impacted by these issues are at the table helping to solve the problems.
Wow. So, you are equally impressive as the previous two. Go Bruins. Let me ask all of you, how can we get better integration of resources and of ideas and of action with between HACLA and the City of Los Angeles?
Well, I'll start. I think that having a strong Office of Intergovernmental Relations between the HACLA and the City Council is important. I work with Eric Brown currently, and I think he does a phenomenal job of making sure that the information flow is smooth between HACLA and City Council, as well as Mr. Doug Guthrie, our CEO, and continuing to build those relationships so that when there are important policy decisions being made, that information is shared up front and in a timely fashion with both the leaders, in elected capacity, as well as shared with those of us on the appointed side. I think is going to help to strengthen the communication and the network between HACLA and the City Council.
I'll chime in. I think that the public housing developments in the city of LA are great opportunities to develop long-term plans for change. I know today they announced the promise zones. I think that all our developments should be promise zones because people tend to live there for a long time. So you would have children that would live there from like kindergarten till they graduate from high school and hopefully go to college. But what happens is that there's a lot of concentration of crime, poverty, the schools maybe around some of these developments aren't the best schools. But the positive is that you could do long-term investment in these developments, not just in the housing aspect, but in all the other resources that you could bring to the table. So they're a really good mechanism to create long-term change because people stay. People don't, I know one of the issues that we have in Boyle Heights is that people move a lot. But in the developments, they don't, and Boyle Heights has 4 public housing developments. So if you were to invest in the children that live in these developments and really invest long-term and bring all the different city resources to the table, you could create amazing change. Not just in the development itself, but in the lives of the people living there, because it's so concentrated. So I think we just have to kind of plan and have, long-term goals. A lot of the time we do things short-term hoping, let's work with 15, 16, 17-year-olds for a couple of years. Hopefully they get to college. Well, what I've learned working in Ramona Gardens, it's we have a high school program, but we needed to start in elementary school if we really wanted to get them to college. So it's a long-term investment, but the city has the resources. So these are really good places to invest city resources.
La pregunta del concejal fue, ¿cómo podremos llegar a cabo más recursos, más cooperación entre HACLA y el concejal de Los Ángeles?
Pues para mí es trabajando juntos, ¿verdad? Como yo en esta posición expondría los problemas de mi comunidad y buscaríamos soluciones juntos como grupo, ¿verdad?
For me, it's working together and cooperating with one another so that as a resident I can bring forward to you some of the issues that my community is facing so that we can address them and work cooperatively.
Y buscaríamos alguna estrategia para traer buenos programas, pues en nuestra comunidad hay tantas necesidades, ¿verdad? Que también no es fácil. Buscaríamos lo mejor para traerle para que esta comunidad crezca.
I would work on strategies to bring to you all so that we can talk together collaboratively to figure out ways to address some of the challenges that we're facing.
Y pues yo digo que trabajando en grupo, ¿verdad? Tomando las decisiones, para mí eso va a ser.
And I would encourage that we work as a group together so that we can address these issues.
I couldn't have said it any better myself.
Is that it?
I just want to applaud again the nominees on your willingness to serve, certainly in an area that needs a lot of service. There are 2 projects in the 9th, Avalon Gardens and Pueblo de Rio, And so very sensitive, very aware of obstacles and opportunities. And I just take a little exception with the thought about a long-term strategy. We also need a short-term strategy. I mean, we need to do some things immediately, whether it's computer labs or community gardens or job training, job play. I mean, we need to be doing some things now that give people a sense that we do care, that the system is responsive. And I know we need to try to, I think, cultivate the kind of public-private partnerships that suggest that it could really be some changes made quickly in a way that we haven't been able to do, just relying on our certainly well-meaning but limited resources and public housing authority. So I just encourage you to, continue being strong advocates, continue to really represent the interests, the concerns, appreciate those of you who come from the projects and, say we'd like to see more on the commission who live in those projects. No one in there from District 9, for example. I'm not saying that you have to be there to understand it. Obviously you don't. You all are very caring, very sensitive, and very committed. And I think all those qualities are going to be important as we work in a collaborative way to really make some changes that are going to signal not only to the broader community, but especially to residents in those communities that we do care. So thank you. Thank you for your service.
I'd move the panel and the reappointment.
I would second that.
Second. Consensus.
All four of these these commission appointments will also be in council on January 15th.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And if you would tell the ladies at the gardens I'm coming back,
Okay, I will.
and if they could put I told them my favorite soup was bundigas.
Oh, yeah.
So
Great
they
idea.
made it for me with extra meat. So
Extra meatballs.
see, I just kind of put that out, and then maybe when I go, that
Little sausage meat.
Thank you so much.
they laid.
Congratulations.
Thank you and congratulations.
The
They have no problems.
this concludes
They go.
our agenda.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair.
Concludes the agenda.
And there's
We're adjourned.
Well done.
Mark is